Shavarei. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaः. Bhadram Pashyedmakshapih Yajatraः. Sthirairangaih stushtvamsastanubhih. Yashema Devahitam Yadayuः. Swasti na Indro Vridhashravah. Swasti nः Pusha Vishvavedaः. Swasti nastaksho Arishtaniः. Swasti no Brihaspatirdadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Atashvalayano Bhagavantam Parameshtinam Upasametyo Vacha Adhihi Bhagavan Brahmavidyam Varishtam Sada Sadbhis Sevyamanam Nigudham. Brahma, Atma, Swarupa, the intrinsic nature of Brahmatma was pointed out in the 21st mantra. Tebhyaha vilakshanaha sakshi chinmatraha sadashivaha. It was pointed out. I am distinct. I, the Brahmatma, I am distinct from what is Drishyam, Namarupa, Prapancha, Triputi. It was pointed out. I am Vilakshanaha because I am Sakshi, the very witness consciousness. I am the Chinmatraha. I am the pure Chaitanya. Chaitanya which remains ever pure. I am Sadashivaha, ever auspicious one. In comparison to me, the Triputi, the Prapancha, does not enjoy this Lakshana. It is Kalpita in me. So, having said that, the Prapancha, that or me, I the Satya Atma, Brahma Atma is Vilakshana, distinct from the Triputi Rupa Prapancha. In the next mantra, it was pointed out that I am the very Karana for Janma, the Srishti, the creation, sustenance and the resolution of the entire world. It was pointed out. I am the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Ishvara is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam, and that is the only truth, the only cause, and everything comes up, arises from me, the Brahmatma Ishvara, and everything is sustained by Brahmatma Ishvara. Everything resolves unto Ishvara. And that Brahma, which is non-dual, I am, it was pointed out. Now a incidental question came up. The commentator brought in that when Brahman is the Jagat Karanam, then Jagat undergoes changes. So Brahman also must undergo changes. Because it is the Karana, the general rule is that the Karana undergoes a change to become the Karyam. The causal material undergoes change to become the effect, the creation. So too, Brahma also must undergo change. That's a question. And other attendant questions are there. Every object in the universe is limited in terms of place and time. So to Brahman also, the manifestation of Brahman also, that is Brahma in as much as is the material cause, would also become Anitya, etc. These questions come up. Therefore, in answering these questions, the next mantra comes that the commentator introduces Tadetat Ati Durbodha Swarupatvena Varayati. Is it audible? Audible to you? Okay. Varayati, the Shruti, the Upanishad, negates this, wards this off, negates this doubt, this question that this Ishvara, the Lord, has a nature, Swarupa, the intrinsic nature of Ishvara is Ati Durbodha, very difficult indeed to comprehend by a sthula mind, an impure mind which is used to comprehend, relate to only gross objects, and a mind which is fraught with certain impurities like kama, krodha, etc. Such a mind, and a mind who is committed to the individuality, the division, the distinction, that mind cannot comprehend. One thing is the intellectual capacity to comprehend this. The other is the emotional readiness of the person, of the mind to own this, right? So both are necessary. And it is for this very reason that the various practices, the sadhanas are mentioned. We don't discount any sadhana. We say that what we understand the relative importance of each and every sadhana. So all the sadhanas are for manasaha samskara, for the sake of chitta shuddhi or manasaha samskara. That samskara makes the intellect capable of comprehending, of owning, of receiving the wisdom, and then also it strengthens the emotional being in as much as it's capable of assimilating, owning the wisdom. So for a sthula mind, the teaching, the vision is difficult to comprehend, is not easy to understand. That is what is indicated by the mantra in the Kathopanishad, Yeshaha Gudaha Atma na Prakashate. Yeshaha Anuhu Atma. This Atma, the self, is indeed very subtle. Anuhu, very, very subtle. And then Yeshaha Gudaha Atma, it is hidden, as it were. It is hidden, it is said. It's not that Atma is hidden. Atma is the ever manifest entity in terms of the manifestation, the Namarupa, the truth of all as the truth of all Namarupa, Atma is Prakatita. Yet for a mind, for a gross mind, Sthulam Manaha, this looks like Gudaha, Atma, Gudaha Iva, as though it is very incomprehensible, difficult to own, difficult to understand. And therefore, that is the Ati Durbodhatta Bodha Swarupa. But on the other hand, when a person's mind becomes very fine, refined, and there is this union between the head and the heart, this we have seen earlier. The head and the heart remaining in harmony, in tandem, in harmony. This is one meaning of the word yoga. The head and the heart of the individual are in harmony. That is to say, what the head thinks and what the heart thinks are not in opposition, they are in harmony. Not necessarily that the head and the heart should think the same, but they are in harmony. There is no opposition. There is oneness. There is unison of purpose between one's head and the heart. This is yoga, and this person is called Dhiraha. In the Kathopanishad, it's called Dhiraha, right? Paranchikani Vyatranat Swayambhuhu. We have come to that? No. Paranchikani Vyatranat Swayambhuhu Tasmat Paran Pashyati Na Antaratman. Due to one's preoccupation, one's commitment to the Namarupa, taking it as real, the person is outgoing. The very senses, the very mind is outgoing. In the meaning that one is committed to the Namarupa, getting things and getting rid of things. Right? That is the Paranchi, extroverted, going outward, taking the Namarupa as the Paramarthika, and as if it's going to fulfill one's wishes, one's desires for good. Paranchikani. Therefore, because of this excessive commitment, the indulgence in the Nama Rupa, Antaratmanam na pashyati. Right? Paranchikani with Swayam Tasmat Paran pashyati na Antaratman, is not ready to look into one's true nature and into one's, thereby look into one's own the purpose, the meaning of life, what one really seeks in life, what one wants to have in life. One does not really pay attention to, just goes by the whims and fancies. Man bola kar diya, right? Vaisiva. Manmani, they say in Hindi. Whatever the mind says, this fellow goes along with that, right? So, in a way, the person is a sort of slave to one's own whims and fancies, which is not a very happy situation. And the Upanishad says, Kaschit dhiraha avritta chakshuhu, right? The person says, Parang pasit na antaratman, Kaschit dhiraha avritta chakshuhu, Atmanam Atmani Aikshat. Atmanam Kaschit dhiraha avrita chakshuhu Atmanam Aikshat. The fellow definitely sees, understands. Dhiraha, the person who is together. The head and the heart are together. So that is what is samskara, that is what is the sadhanas are about. Therefore, for such person, Drishyate through, again very same Kathopanishad, Drishyate tu, Atma Swarupa is really understood very clearly and known by Agriya Buddhya, by a sharp mind. Here sharp does not mean sharp intellect. We should not think that a person of sharp intellect. We do see people who are very intellectually very great, right? Still emotionally a mess. There are people, right? Intellectually great person, a great economist, a great scientist, a great mathematician, but emotionally is a wreck, right? Fit to be carried away in a stretcher. So, is a wreck. Emotionally a person is a wreck. So here the sharp mind does not refer to sharpness of intellect. Of course, sharpness of intellect is necessary. It's a very great help. But the person needs to be together. A person who is together. The head and the heart need to be together. Only that person is able to understand, own. Therefore, the introduction is to highlight the necessity of the readiness. Right? So, a two-level samskara for the mind. One is the preparing one's own mind. In other words, preparing oneself. And it is for that sake that the samadama, the antaranga sadhana, bahiranga sadhana, etc., they are mentioned. Various practices are mentioned. And the second level of samskara for the mind is the shravana, etc. Guru, shastra, upadesha. This is the second level of samskara. So one prepares the mind to receive the vision, and the second samskara gives the vision. The teaching, the upadesha of the shastra gives the vision. This is pointed out in the Gita Bhashyam by Shankaracharya. So, Samskritam Manaha, Chamadamadi Sadhanaihi, Samskritam Manaha, Guru Shastra Upadeshena cha, Samskritam Manaha, Atma Jnane Karanam. He very clearly says. Such a mind alone is capable of receiving and owning, comprehending the truth, the vision about oneself. A Samskritam Manaha with Samadama, by Samadama sadhana, and then which is endowed with, blessed with the vision. Guru Shastra Upadeshena cha Samskritam Manaha. That is the underlying idea in saying Ati Durbodha Swarupa of the Atma here. And the Ati Durbodha Swarupa is indicated here in the mantra partly. We will read the mantra. Anuraniyan ahameva tadvat Mahanagam vishvamagam vichitram Puratanoham purushohamishaha Hiranmayoham shivarupamasmi. Anoho aniyan. Anoho, fifth case. even compared to an anu. Anu means a subtle entity, an atom, a very tiny entity. Anoho aniyan, smaller than the atom, smaller than the small. At the same time, tadvat, in the same way, similarly, mahan aham, I am the great one, big one. I am vast, I am big, I am great. Now, how can a thing which is small be great? A thing is small, at the same time great. Here is it relative bigness or relative smallness that is mentioned. In fact, there is comparison. Anoho, compared to an anu, I am small, it is said. Smaller than the atom, smaller than the anu, it is said. But is this smallness or bigness, is it relative? Well, we can say something is small with reference to something else. And the very same entity may be big in comparison to another thing. For instance, a cat is small compared to an elephant. Right? But at the same time, the cat is big when compared to an ant, a fly. It's big. So is Atma like comparatively with the reference to something else it is small, something else it is big? No, that is not the spirit here. That's not the idea conveyed here. It is free from all this dimensions, descriptions, desha, kala, etc. The paricheda, free from all such limitations. That is what is indicated. So I am big, I am small. I am smaller, I am at the same time, I am smaller than the small, I am bigger than the big. Anoho aniyan mahato mahiyan. Atmasya jantoho nihitam guhayam, it says. Anoho aniyan, smaller than the smallest, and then bigger than the biggest. Mahataha mahiyan, bigger than the big. But at the same time, where do you recognize this Atma Swarupa? Asya jantoho guhayam nihitam. Asya, of this jantu, of this entity being, guhayam, in the very heart, nihitam, obtaining. Right? The bigger than the biggest obtains in my heart, as the aham iti, that is what is manifest as verily, as me. So mahan aham, I am the great one, greater than the great one. Here this is not an ego that is saying this, I am great, etc. But it is a Swarupa that is pointed out. And further, Vishwam aham, I am the very universe. I am the one who inheres in the universe. As the being which lends existence to the entire universe of Nama Rupa, names and forms, I am the very truth of this. In that way, I am Vishwam. And this Vishwa is Vichitram, variegated universe, different, varied, variegated, countless number of entities in that. I am that everything. Okay. Then further, I am Puratanaha, I am ancient. In the Gita we say, no, na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajaha nityaha shashvataha puranaha. There is a word Puranaha. So Purana means very old, very ancient. Also it means, in the derivation of the word, the Purana also they derive this way. Pura api navaha. Pura means earlier. That is very, very long ago. And then I was Nava. Nava means I was new. Right? I was new earlier also. You shouldn't forget the also. Earlier also I was young. Now also what? Also means now also I am young. Right? Pura api navam. Even earlier also I was Nava. Now also Nava. Nava means new. Right? Ever fresh. That is to say, I don't age. Right? I the Atma, I don't age. I the body, or my body definitely ages. Right? So Pura Nava means I was young once upon a time. Means what? I am not young now. Does it mean that? No. I am ever fresh. I don't age. I am timeless. That is the idea. So Puratanaha, I am not bound by time. I am the ever fresh. Ever fresh. Mind may get used to ideas, old notions and beliefs and all that. And then it may get tired, at a time it may get tired. And the body, of course, ages, withers, becomes healthy and otherwise, that you all know. But I, the inherer in all this, and the one who lights up all this, I am timeless. So that's what is signified by this Dakshinamurti, right? Mauna Vyakya, that so Chitram Vatataror Mule Vriddha Sishyaha Guruhu Yuva. You see this picture? The Sishyas who are there, they are Vriddhaha, right? They are signifying Jivas. Jiva has been there in this universe from Anadi Kalataha, right? Beginningless is the Jiva also. And therefore, but this Jiva keeps on going, taking bodies, taking birth, undergoing experiences, and then in a way he is very old. That's why, that's what is represented by the Sanakadis. Not that Sanakadis are old, Sanakadis stand for the Jiva who is Anadi, and then having gone through the samsara for so long, from timeless beginning, right? A beginningless time, whatever. So they are separated by the old. But then, what about the teacher? What about the Guru? Guru, you are ever young. Ever young means not wrought by, not affected by time, right? So, not subject to time, not affected by time. Kala, Atita is what is indicated by this Yuva. So, like that, it says here, I am Puratanaha. I am the very ancient one. I am the ever new one. I am the ever new, ever fresh. This is one thing we need to, again, I'm in a mood, okay? So this is a sadhaka, sadhaka has to do that. I'm in a sadhaka mood, sadhana mood. So the sadhaka has to invoke that, see that I am ever fresh. You are ever fresh. This is the truth, okay? So every moment is fresh, right? And every time, everything that you see, every time you see, it is fresh. It is fresh. That's what it is. The seer is fresh. The moment is fresh. The seeing is fresh. The experiencing is fresh. It's every time, all the way, it is fresh. Nava, nutana, it is. All the time it is fresh. Only the mind which is conditioned, the conditioned mind says that, oh, the same thing. Okay? What do you have for breakfast? Oh, the same thing. What will you have for lunch? The same thing. Right? The same thing means what? Kadi, kichadi. That same thing. Aloo sabji, the same thing. Only 365 days in a year. That's all. The rest of the days we have variety. So, other days we have variety. So, mind is conditioned, feels that it's the same. Oh, the same thing. Right. Suppose you and I work in an office, okay, for some 35 years. Since I was 21, we have been working together. I've been seeing you for past 35 years. They say in Tamil, Ade Muhatta, Patu, Chalichu Pochu, got tired of Kantara, bore ho gaya. उसी शक्ल को देख करके रोज उसी को देख करके बोर हो गया. I got tired of seeing the same face every day in day out, seeing the same face. Right? So that's the mind which brings up this natak, this tamasha, that it's the very same face, the old face, the very same face. You are seeing it again. Well, you are seeing it again, but then you are seeing it again now, right? That you is fresh always. Your seeing is fresh. You are fresh, every moment you are fresh. So life, every moment is fresh. Okay. So that makes one relish the moment. See the newness, see the freshness of every moment. It may be the same entity that you are seeing, right? But then still the seeing is nutana, seeing is the same, right? So, Puratanaha, I am the ancient one. At the same time, I am the ever new, ever fresh one. Okay. Face life, face the moment, face the situation with the freshness all the time. So instead of looking at the same thing, the same old thing, invoke this. This moment is new. This moment, this seeing is new. This is fresh, right? So that way I would be better able to enjoy the moment, enjoy the interaction, enjoy the response. Okay, therefore, Puratanaha Aham, I am the ever new one. It's not just me, does not mean I am the ever old one, I am the ever new one. Puratanaha here means I am the ever new, ever fresh I am. And I am Purushaha. Purushaha Aham, I am the indweller. Remember, this body is referred to as Puram, okay? Three Puras, 3 cities. We saw in that, Puratraye Kridati Yascha Jivaha, we saw in the threefold, 3 cities we saw. So who is the Pura Swami, the indweller of this Swami, this Puram, the city is me, I am the Purushaha. The indweller of the city is me, the Atma. In fact, I am not only the Swami, the indweller of this one Sharira, I am the indweller of every Sharira that ever was, that ever is, that ever is going to be, right? In the present, past and future, I am the Swami, I am the indweller, I am the owner, I am the king, right? I am the king of, or queen of the every body. Purushaha, I am the indweller of every Shariram. And not only I am the indweller, I am the one who fills it with being. The Sharira is, it is because of me, the Purusha. The Sharira is, and the Sharira is alive, is capable of living and then experiencing, and then the mind is capable of knowing, feeling, right? All that is big. I fill up the mind with its own capacity to be and to know, to feel, all that, to interact. I am the one who lends the being and the samarthya, the every capacity that the equipment has. That I am the Purushaha. And the Purusha also means Purnaha. I am the ever full one. I am the ever free one, ever full one. Purushaha I am. I am the Chaitanyam. These are the meanings of Purusha, the indweller, and then the one who lends being and the life to the body and mind, and the one who is ever full, and the one who is ever free, and the one who is Chaitanya. These are the meanings of Purusha. Purushaha Aham. And also I am the Ishaha. I am the Lord. I am the Lord. Okay. You are the Lord, you are the king, you are the queen, and what is your subject? Namarupa Prapancha is, I am the Lord of this Namarupa Prapancha. And how do you rule this? Through the various dharma, the vast order called dharma. That is how I rule. In fact, I rule without ruling. Right? They say, the king is generally, a great king is generally expected not to do not much. Chalo, only imagine a king. This king heard of something happening in some remote part of his country, then something is happening, this fellow runs to take care of that. And then coming back, hears about something else happening, runs to that. Such a fellow is not a great king. They say, who is a great manager, who gets things done. Okay. They say. Suppose the fellow were to do everything by himself, that fellow is not a great manager, they say. So, the great king is one who rules by his presence. By very presence, the ruling happens. So they give an example, Rajavat they give. You can see, Atma is like Rajavat, right? Rajavat it is, like the king it is. In the presence of the king, the ruling that takes place. Governing the country, governing the people, governing the country takes place. So, I am like the Ishaha, the Lord, I am the Lord of all. And in my Ishanam, in my ruling, in my governing, that nothing happens to me. I am the changeless. No change occurs to me. Swarupa change does not happen to me. I am the Ishaha, the peculiar Isha, governing without governing. Remember the 3 Murtis, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, right? One is seen as the one Lord, one Ishvara, presented as the creator is Brahma, right? As the sustainer is Vishnu, as the one who takes unto resolver, unto Yeah, unto himself is present as Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. What is the picture of them? How does it look? Brahma creating, Vishnu sustaining, and Rudra, Shiva, or the destroyer or the resolver. Very interesting. Yeah. Brahma should be, there's with the suits, with the brief attache in his hand, with the tie flying, then running with the hair, flying to create, and then Rudra doing that with the very angry face with the hammer, giant in his hammer in his hand, demolishing things. Okay, demolishing things, and then Vishnu sustaining everything, keeping everything in shape, pulling things together. A worried face and all that. That's what should be. Creation means not, creation of the universe is not a simple thing, and more importantly, maintenance is the most difficult thing. Lakshmi one day comes and tells to Lakshmi, the goddess, okay, comes and tells Vishnu, Enna, dear honey, why don't you go and stop this fellow's work, this Brahma, your neighbor, your friend, very good. Well, it goes on creating. More creation means more trouble. And creates and then aapke god mein chhod deta. And then put the baby on your lap. Right? So, right, the giving birth to the baby is this fellow's Brahmaji's job. And baby, what do you call that? Baby. No. Babysitting. Who should do the babysitting? No. Vishnu has to do the babysitting. Chalo, I have created boo-hoo, lo. I have created buvaha, take it. No? All on your lap. And you don't take me anywhere. Or cinema unda, or Lakshmi telling, you never took me out for a dinner, for a picnic. All the time busy with maintaining, sustaining this world. All people's problems you have to go and solve. Gajendra calls, you have to go. Then Draupadi calls, you have to go. Prahlada calls, you have to go. Right? So why don't you tell Brahmaji to stop creation? Konjaneram. For some time, stop creation so that you can at least manage. And what you are going protecting, your other fellow, your other friend goes on destroying. Why do you protect? Because anyway that fellow is destroying. No? Why should you do that? And this fellow is building, you are all maintaining it. The next moment that fellow destroys it, comes and bang, 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 destroy it. What is this? Lakshmi should tell Vishnu. Okay. Nothing, no vikara. No vikara on part of Ishvara. As the creator, no vikara. As the sustainer, no vikara. Right? It's not a burden. Lightly perched. I saw one picture of Shiva, no? Shiva carrying the damaru, the deer in his hand, the fire, right? And then the kapala, and then trishula, and all that. And then Shiva is dancing. A very nice picture I saw. That he is not holding anything, right? The fire and all that, just hand is like that on the fire, gently the fire sits. He is not holding the fire like. In some pictures, you know, the Ishvara holding the God form, holding with all the fingers, holding the whatever in the instrument in the hand. Here, the fire just sits lightly in the hand. There's no holding. And Damaru, just two fingers are there, in that Damaru is sitting there. That's all. It's not holding the Damaru. Shula, Trishula is just slightly resting on the shoulder, slightly resting. And then he is dancing. Where are the feet? No? As if touching the ground. As if touching the ground. Not really firmly placed, but as if touching. Touching without touching. Holding without holding. Right? All that. Doing without doing. A very, very beautiful picturization of Ishvara. So, the Jagat Srishti, the creating the world and then sustaining the things and then resolving, taking unto oneself, it's not a burden, it's not a vikara at all. Like even for water, no? For water, bringing up a wave is not a bother for water. Anayasena, it brings up a wave. Anayasena, without effort, without sweating, it sustains the wave. And without any sweat, any change in it, it absorbs the wave in its own self. Anayasena. Our own clay also does the same thing. Anayasena, it brings up the pot. Okay? Anayasena, it remains the pot, sustains the pot. Anayasena, it takes the pot, and ayasa means with great sweat and toil. Okay? Anayasena, without any vikara on its part, goes back into clay. The pot goes back into clay. This is the Shivaha. This is the Shiva. This is Ishvara. Okay? So, Ishaha, I am the Ishaha, I the Atma, I the one, I the true entity being, sustaining creation, etc. effortlessly happen in me. In me, time happens. In me, time occurs. Right? Time, I project time, or time happens in me without affecting me. Ishaha aham, Purushaha aham, Ishaha aham, and Hiranmayaha aham. Hiranmaya, I am the effulgent one, like gold, right? Hiranyam means gold, Hiranyam, Hiran, etc. refers to gold. Hiranmayaha, I am the effulgent one, I am the golden, like I am the effulgent one. There is a description, no? Hiranyasmashruhu, etc. The picture of Ishvara is given in the Upanishad. Hiranyasmashruhu, golden mustache. Kya baat hai? Mustache is golden, all gold, 24 karat gold. Hiranyasmashruhu, Hiranyanakha, etc., etc. Hiranyakesha, meaning omniscient, the effulgent one, the ever pure Chaitanya. That is what meant by this gold. See, Hiranmayaha, I am the ever effulgent, self-revealing, self-shining Chaitanya, I am. And Shivarupam Asmi, I am the ever auspicious one. I am the Shiva, ever auspicious one. Very beautiful. Now, look into the explanation, the commentary. Anoho Anuparimanat Atishayena Anuhu, Aniyan Atishayena Anuhu. Anoho means Anuparimanat, compared to the size of an atom. Atom here is a tiny object, that's all. Anuparimanat, smaller than the size of an atom, compared to that. Aniyan means Atishayena Anuhu, smaller than the Atishayena means exceedingly small, smaller than the smallest, smaller than the small, I am. And what are you? Who are that? That I am the smallest, the smaller than the smallest. I am the Jagat Karana Bhutaha. Aham Eva. I am the very cause of this entire universe. As the very Upadana and the Nimitta Karanam, I am the creator. I am the very cause of this. I am the Karana of this entire universe. Remember, this is not said by the Jiva, not said by the Ahankara, not by the Upadi, but by the inherer, by the truth of all, that is Atma, that is Ishvara. I am the Jagat Karana Bhutaha, Aham Eva. Who is this Aham? He says, Aham Pratyaya Vyavahara Yogyaha. What is fit to be Yogya? Fit to be referred to by this cognition. What is referred to by this cognition? Aham, the I. What we really mean by I. The true meaning of I is the Atma, and that Atma is Ishvara. Ishvara is the Jagat Karanam, and Ishvara is Atma. That is what is meant by Aham Pratyaya Vyavahara Yogyaha. That one who is really fit to be called as I is Atma. Only in ignorance or only with reference to Upadi, I refer to the Sharira as I, my mind as I, etc. Right? But really, what is worthy of calling as I is only Atma. That is Aham Pratyaya Vyavahara Yogyaha. Natu Anyaha. Not any other entity. Okay. So, continuing. Tadvat. Similarly, in the same way, Yatha Anuhu. He explained Tadvat, like atom. Like in the case of atom, I am small. Tatha Mahan. So I am big also. Like I said, I am small. So I am saying now I am big also. I am small, I am big. I am smaller than the small, I am bigger than the big. So don't conclude that when I say I am small, don't conclude that I am very, very tiny, insignificant, right? Fu, small Ishvara comes. Bhakta, var mango, right? Take varna. I say, fu, Ishvara flies. Ishvara rise, anoho, aniyan, so tiny. I say, fu, no, he will fly miles away. He will go flies miles. Don't think that I am small, I am big too. Tata Mahan. Okay. So whatever that is small, the idea is, whatever that is small, I am the truth of it. And whatever is big, I am the truth of it. That is what is meant by big and small here. I am free from smallness or bigness. Okay. That he explains. Sarvasmat adhikaha. I am bigger than anything. Adhikaha, more than anything. Sarvasmat, more than. Adhikaha, more than. Sarvasmat, more than anything. I am bigger than anything. Who is that? Again, Aham Vyakhyatam. Already understood, already explained. That is the Aham Pratyaya Vyavahara Gocharaha Yogyaha. And then earlier, Sakshi, Chinmatra, that I am. That is a Vyakhyatam here. And here onwards, for a couple of mantras, the commentator goes on saying Vyakhyatam, Vyakhyatam, Vyakhyatam. Aham means Vyakhyatam. He said, been already told, already explained many times. He keeps on repeating this. Aniyasam, Mahatam, Karananam cha, Yatha Bhedaha, Tatha Vap. It may be, there is a printing is Vapi, right? Printed as Vapi. I think it may be Tavapi, maybe. Tatha, Tava Api, it may be. Or simply Vapi, okay. Va Api, okay. Tatha Vapi. I feel it will be better, it will be Tava Api. You say you are bigger, you are small, then for you, that would be the better, simpler reading, I suppose. I feel that Tavapi will be better. I'll read that way. Tavapi Syat Ityataha Aha. Now this is a question here. Yatha Bedaha Asti. Like even there is difference. Aniyasam Bedaha Asti. The small entities are different from among themselves. One is different from the other. The small is different from smaller. The smaller is different from smallest. There is Bedaha. And also between the small and big there is difference. Mahatam, Aniyasam, Mahatam, Cha, Bedaha is there. There is distinction between among small ones. There is Taratamya, there is degrees of smallness, therefore there is difference. And also between small and big there is difference. And not only that, Karananam Cha, and their own Karanas, the smaller, the cause of the small, cause of the big, there is also difference in the among the causes also. So too, Tatha, Tava Api, Tava Atmanaha, in you also, Tava Api, Syat, there will be Bedaha. There should be Beda in you also. Because you say you are smaller than the small, there is difference, and then there is difference between small and big. Therefore, there should be difference in the Atma. That is the point here. Iti, this is the question. Ataha aha. To that question, the answer is given. Vishwamidam sa avidyam bhuta bhautika prapancha jatam aham vyakhyatam. No, don't think that there is small is different from me, big is different from me. No, I am the entire Vishwa. So when you say Anoho Aniyan, when you say you are smaller than the small, that means you are different from the small. When you say you are bigger than the big, that means you are different from the big, because you are bigger, okay? You are bigger, therefore you are different from the big. That's the question. He says, no, I am Vishwam Idam. I am the entire universe. I am the every Nama Rupa. And along with its beloved avidya, avidyaya saha vartate iti sa avidyam. Along with avidya, I am the entire Vishwa. And that is to say, whatever that is projected by avidya, right, that also I am. Don't think that I am different from anything. I am everything. At the same time I am small, at the same time I am big. Okay? That is to say that I am the truth of everything again. Bhuta, Bhautika, Prapancha, Jatam. The entire gamut, the entire group, the varga of Bhuta and Bhautika, which is Prapancha. I am the Bhuta, Bhautika, Prapancha, Jatam. And who is that? Aham, which is Vyakhyatam, already explained, already pointed out. Okay. Now, again, another question. Asya Jagataha Tattvat Bheda Rahitye Swasmadapi Abhedaha Syat Iti Ataha Aha. Asya Jagataha, you say that this Jagat, Asya Jagataha, for this Jagat, Tattva Abheda, Tattva Abheda Rahitya. Rahityam, free from. Free from this Abheda Rahitya. Swasmadapi abhedaha syat. Okay. This the objects that we see in the world, they differ from one another, right? There is no oneness of, there is no total identity of the objects that we see in the world. One is different from the other. Tattva means in their own nature. The objects in the world, in their own nature, they have this abheda rahityam. They are not one and the same. Bheda is difference, abheda is oneness. There is no oneness of objects in the world. That is the idea. Tattva abheda rahitye. An object in the world enjoys a distinctness from other objects. And therefore, swasmat api abhedaha syat. It must be different from you also. You the Chaitanya also. That is what is said. When a table is different from a book, and then it is distinct from another object, so too it must be distinct from you the Atma also. That is the question. Iti. That's a question. Ataha aha. To this it says, the Shruti says, Vichitram Vividham Swayam Ananta Bhedavat Ityartaha. Yes, there is difference in the world. Swayam Ananta Bhedavat. In itself, there is countless number of distinction, differences. A is not B. This pot is not cat is not rat. Yes, there is Ananta Vedavat. That is the Vividham, Vichitram, Jagat, the variegated universe in its entirety. I am the truth of all. Even though they vary, they are distinct. The cat is not a rat, a pot is not a cat. In them, in terms of their Nama Rupa, in terms of Upadhi, in terms of their function, their role, they are different. Yet, they are non-different from me. That is what is pointed out here. So, even though they are different in terms of their Nama Rupa and Kriya, Karma, but I am non-different from them. They are non-different from me. That is what is said. Swayam Ananta Bedavat, that is Vividham, which is the meaning of Vichitram. Sacha Prapancha, Sacha Vishwam, I am that, I am the truth of all this Veda. Okay. this Nama Rupa. Then further, one more question here. All the commentator keeps on connecting each description as an answer to a potential question, a doubt. Tad abhinnasya tasya tava api adunikatvam syat iti ataha aha. Okay. When you say that you are non-different from the prapancha, then we see in the world things coming into existence now. It's not that the world, the entire world is created and then once for all the creation is done. It is not so. We do see new things coming up, big and small, coming into being. And when you say you are that, you are the entire prapancha, a thing which was not there earlier, when it comes into being, that would mean that you are non-different from that. That world is non-different from you, right? Tad abhinnasya, tasmat abhinna. The world is non-different from you, you say. Tasya jagataha, tad abhinnasya, which is non-different from you. This being the case, tava api, for you also, there must be coming into being newly. That is to say, you also must be new here. As and when things come, created, you also must keep on coming up newly and newly and newly. Maybe a part of you comes new, maybe some extra, a limb of you comes new, a cell in you comes up new, right? So, see, when the table was not made, there was no table. There was no entity, there was no object. But then when a table is made, that is part of Vishwa, right? The table is newly made, that is come into being just now. And that means you say that you are the table also, you are the Vishwam. And therefore, table comes new means that is non-different from you. And you also must be coming up newly. Every moment, you also must be coming up newly. You must be Adunika. You should have the Adunikatvam. Aduna means now, presently, right? So you also must be recent every moment. That is to say, you come into being every moment. Imagine this. So, there are some two things are there, and then me, the Atma, Brahma, Ishvara is there. Two things have come up, and then I am there. So, suddenly a third thing comes into being, and something also pops up in me. Something comes up in me. Right? Because that has come anew, and that is non-different from me. That means I also keep on growing like newer parts in me, as it were. So, you are Adunikat. You have Adunikatvam. You are also recent. Johnny come late, right? You have come just now. Things keep coming up new. You follow the idea? New things are new things, new creation keeps coming up, and you say that you are the Vishwa, you are the Prapancha. That means you also, a part of you must keep on coming up. You also must be newly coming up again. That is, you are subject to time. You have a birth. That is the idea. You are subject to coming into being. That is, you are subject to birth, right? At least, if not you, there must be an amsha in you which is subject to birth. And that means you have amsha. And second thing is, you are subject to time. When you are subject to time, you will have vinasha also. That is the idea. And also, when you have amsha, you will be jada. Like the table, you will be jada also. You will be jada and you will be vinashavan also. This is the objection. You follow? In the prapancha, we see new things coming up, right? A star which was not there earlier now comes into being. And an animal which was not born, an elephant baby is born now. Now when the elephant baby born, before the elephant baby was born, that Vishwa was different, right? That baby was not there. Now the baby is born, so the Vishwa is different. And you are that Vishwa. That means what? The elephant baby was not there means that aspect or whatever that amsha of you was not there. Now the elephant baby comes. You are also that. You are that, and therefore you also, a part of you also comes anew, right? You follow, I keep changing. That is the idea. So you are also recent. When you say recent, how can you say Puratanoham? How can you say Nityaham? Follow? When you say when you are Adhunika, right? When you have Adhunikatvam, when you are recent, how can you say Aham Puratanaha, Aham Nitya? How can you say? This is the question. So he says, I am not Adhunika. He says Puratanaha means Chirantanaha. I am very ancient. Puratanaha means I am ever existing. Chirantanaha, that's the meaning here. Puratanaha, ancient, means I am the ever existing one. Ever existing. Chirantanaha. And what is that? He explains that. Adhunika, Sarpa, Dhara, Balivarda, Mutritattvadi, Abhinna, Chirantani, Rajjuhu iva, Aham, Vyakhyatam. I am not like, he says in the example of the Rajju Sarpa, the Rajju may be mistaken for Sarpa and then Dhara and Balivarda Mutrita. It can be taken for many things. People assume new and things. Now, one fellow looks at that and then says, this is a Sarpa. And another fellow just then looks at it and then says, this is a Dhara, a streak of water, he says. That means to say that the Sarpa is just come into being just now, at the moment of observation of the observer number 1. When the second fellow looks at it, he says it is not Sarpa, it is the Dhara, he says. And the third one says it is not neither, it is Balivarda Mutrita, etc. It's the water of this bull, etc. he says. Now, as they observe, it comes into being. They are Adhunika, yes, Sarpa, Dhara and Balivarda, this one, they are Adhunika. But what about the Rajju? I am not like the Sarpa and streak of water. I am not like the snake or the garland or the streak of water. I am the Rajju, he says. Rajju, what is it? Chirantani, it is everlasting, right? Compared to the snake, etc., the Rajju is Chirantani. Sarpa is Adhunika. Sarpa comes into being at the moment of observation, but the rope is Chirantani. It's everlasting. It was ever there. That is the idea. So, Chirantani Rajjuhu iva aham. I am not like the Sarpa. I am like the Rajju, he says here. So that in that sense I am Puratanaha. Therefore, the Rajjuhu, which is Chirantani, which is Abhinna, non-separate from this Sarpa, Dhara, etc. Right? Nothing, the Sarpa, etc. does not exist outside of this rope, and therefore in that sense they are Abhinna to this Rajju. Rajju is non-separate from Sarpa, etc. And that, whereas the Rajju is Chirantani. It's not that only when the Sarpa is seen, Sarpa is perceived, or the Dhara is perceived. This fellow, imagine this is Dhara. It's not that at that moment alone the Rajju came into being. It's not that. The Rajju was already there. The perception of Sarpa came just now, but then the Rajju was already there. That is, the Rajju is Chirantani, whereas Sarpa, etc. is Adhunika, is current, is recent. I am not like the Sarpa, I am like the Rajjuhu. Rajjuhu iva Chirantani aham. So when I say Puratana, ancient, I mean Chirantana, everlasting. Therefore, the changes keep coming. Will it be like that? No. Like when a wave newly arises, is it that the water newly arises, comes into being, or what? Right? Just because the wave arises now, water also comes into being now. Right? Is it so? It is not so. So, it's only the wave which comes into being. Just because the wave comes into being does not mean water is recent. Water is ancient, the wave is recent. Okay? And the recent wave does not cause a change to the ancientness of this water. Water was already there, that is the idea. So water was there already, and that's why the wave could come now. Therefore, new waves coming up does not mean new water comes into being. They add anything to water? No, they are not adding anything to water. They are not changing the swarupa of water. I am like the water, not like the wave. Waves, yes, they are adunika. They keep coming and they keep going. But then I am the presence, ever unchanging presence I am. You remember the Bhagavad Gita verse, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, they are Agama Apayi, they are Anitya, whereas I am the Nitya, I am. I the witness, I the Sakshi, I am Nitya. In that sense alone, the Puratana is mentioned. Not in the sense of coming up newly, new things come up newly. Therefore, I also come up newly. That's not the sense. It's not like that, he says. So I am like the Rajjuhu, I am like the water, which is Chirantana. I am the Chirantana. Chirantanaha aham. You follow? You follow the vein of this idea. Question. Okay. Purushaha Paripurnaha Vastutaha. In reality, in my true nature, aham Paripurnaha. I am ever full one, ever full, always full. Never wanting anything. There is no smallness in me. There is no want in me. I am the ever satisfied, ever full Purusha. Paripurnaha aham. Aham Yakyatam. That I, which is already pointed out, Sakshi Chinmatraha, that I am Purushaha, ever Paripurnaha. Pari and I. Look at in any way, I am full. Look at this way, I am full. Look at that way, I am full. Like a sphere, a ball, no? Right? You look at a ball from any angle, no? It's a ball. Looks the same. Right? Looks the same. From any angle look at, from any standpoint you look at, I am Paripurna. I am the Paripurna. Okay. That is to say, I am free from all the limitations of Namarupa. I am Nitya Paripurna. Okay. Further, we will see tomorrow. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshaviryajatra Sthirairangai Stushtavam Sastanubhi Yashema Devahitam Yadayu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashrava Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti nastarkshu Arishtanemi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om